Joel,
Paul,
thanks for joining me, mate.
not a problem.
How have you enjoyed the festival so far?
It's been really good, thank you. Yeah, yesterday was eventful and quite wet, wasn't it? But today the sun's shining and everyone's in good spirits.
I know, we've been really lucky today, haven't we? Like it's been absolutely beaming down. So Joel, tell us a little bit about you, what you do. Give us the elevator pitch. Let us know who Joel Dalton actually is.
Yeah, cool. Well, I started an agency 15 years ago now in 2010, along with a guy called Simon, my co-founder. Just exited via employee ownership. So
Congratulations.
Thank you. What happens next, I'm not entirely sure, but our business initially was all around helping really busy marketing teams with procurement, particularly of like print and creative elements from campaigns. And then we kind of grew into doing the creative in-house ourselves and then running campaigns and a bit of strategy. So it's just grown from there.
You were like the extension of that team, helping them basically be quicker, be more efficient, and be a little bit better, I guess.
Pretty much. Yeah, we're trying to make them look good, I think was the kind of the pitch to them. And, most companies are stretched, aren't they? Particularly marketing functions. So, it took a while to get going. It really did.
It's funny that though, isn't it? Like being in marketing ourselves as well, like you speak to marketing teams and, there's businesses that are maybe doing like maybe 3, 4, 5 million a year, really big businesses, small to medium sized businesses. And the marketing team is usually like 1, 2 people. Yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, come and do our marketing. Well, what does that mean? Is that SEO? Is that ads? Is it PR? Is it content? And we, as agencies, that's the support we need to offer, isn't it? It's like, because the businesses themselves don't know that they need an agency or a team of people. They think they just need one person. That's not right, is it?
It's not. No, I think people have to wear a lot of hats, don't they? You see some of these job descriptions for marketeers and you think, well, that's never going to get done in a month. It's tough.
So how long were you running that agency for?
15 years.
15 years, that's right, yeah. And before that, though, that you've got a little bit of a traumatic story like leading up to that, haven't you? Like, just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was actually probably 6 years into it. My little brother was killed in a motorcycle accident. It was like 2 months before his 21st birthday. So it's like traumatic beyond belief for our family and just kind of sent shockwaves through everyone, I feel like death never comes at a good time, does it? But the timing was particularly bad. Like my wife was away at a friend's wedding in Cyprus and she was pregnant with our first child at the time. My business partner, my co-founder, was away on holiday with his family and we were just a small team at work then. It's just, it was really tough. And then to make matters worse, and a bit which I haven't really shared with many people, is I'd had this really, really important call booked the day after he died with a company we'd been trying to get in with for ages. And they were based offshore and the time difference was mad. So it was like booked for 4:00 in the morning. And I remember going around to my dad's house and like we were just kind of consoling each other. It was, as you can imagine, pretty awful. And just remember looking down at my feet and saying to him, look, I don't know what to do. I've got this call tomorrow and it's like potentially the most important call that I'll ever make. The scale of the business we're trying to get in with is so big. We know how much of what they do. And my dad, to be fair to him, as I was growing up, he ran a string of businesses, some successful and some not so much. And so I feel like he really gets the kind of entrepreneurial spirit and like knows exactly what it takes to generate work in the first place and then to maintain it. And he said, look, you've got to take the call. And I was pretty surprised by it because I was kind of ready.
I am too.
I was ready to bin it off, I really was. And he said, look, I'll be fine. Like, let's meet afterwards. Let's go for a coffee at lunchtime and stuff. And so it's kind of bizarre thing happened where I kind of kept it to myself. I didn't really tell people at work initially anyway, because I wanted to let Simon know first, my co-founder, and he was away on holiday. I didn't want to ruin his family holiday either, It was kind of like this really weird thing. And I went in and took the call and just broke down afterwards, to be quite honest. I was trying to hold it together for the call and I'm glad I did. Because I feel like sometimes these opportunities, particularly if you ever run a business, like sometimes they just don't come around again. You put something off and I'm sure the client in question would have been perfectly happy. It was
I was going to say,
completely,
given the circumstances, I'm
completely
sure.
valid reason to move a call. But yeah, I don't know, like, I didn't want to let them know, to be honest with you, because we didn't know each other. And I feel like, you know, sometimes it can change the dynamic of a relationship early on. And so, yeah, I've felt guilty about that for years now. And actually, it's only recently that I kind of feel a bit sort of vindicated by it, because we still trade with them now, nearly 10 years later. Like, they've been a brilliant client. We did our biggest campaign for them last year. It was like £1 million. Like, during COVID, they probably kept us alive. And so, yeah, I kind of think in a roundabout way, it was probably the right thing to do. But I'm still kind of on the fence about whether I should have done that or not, you know?
I don't have an opinion on, like, personally, and I don't think it would be helpful to have an opinion on that, but it's so, like, what you went through is incredibly traumatic, losing a family member and in such horrific, like, circumstances as well. Like, that's tough on its own. So, like, to unpack it, like, it sounds like you're incredibly resilient, but grief has a really weird way of being delayed anyway, like, especially within men. And I don't know, like, the stats around it, but I mean, personally, I can relate a little bit, like, you know, having lost family members and what have you. That grief is delayed, and it has been with me. And it's like, I think the other side of that is, like, you've got a family member who got it, who understood what you were going through in terms of your entrepreneurial journey. So that advice seems like quite natural. It's like, you got to do it. I know how hard it is, like you said, and I just think I don't know what to make of that situation, because it's
a
like,
weird one.
But I definitely don't think you should be feeling guilt, and I'm not trying to, like, minimize or maximize whatever you were going through, but clearly where you are today has been a lead up from everything that happened.
Yeah.
Being able to exit your agency or go through that exit process is going to allow you freedom with your children and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, life has a really shitty but funny way of working.
Yeah.
And it's like, clearly it's all built up to that, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, people talk about resilience, don't they? And they talk about what it's like to run a business. And sometimes I think, you know, my co-founder Simon was sharing a post on LinkedIn the other day about, like, it's like a highlight reel, isn't it? Like, all the good stuff. And
it is, yeah.
You know, can anyone do it? I'm not 100% sure, because I think you need that level of resilience. And whether that was that or not, I don't know. But it certainly has proven to be one of the hardest things I ever had to do. And so actually things after that become maybe a bit easier. It's
funny as well, though, because I was talking to someone else earlier today, and she deals with people with trauma. And when actually we look at entrepreneurship, it's usually driven by trauma. It's like entrepreneurship is traumatic in itself.
Yeah.
It's stressful. It causes you to be ill. It can do. It's incredibly risky. You could get killed. You know, you could get, like, knocked out by a gazebo, apparently, like, with the wind. And it's an incredibly, like, traumatic experience to go through. But it's usually that trauma that can manifest in itself to become addicted to your work and take you through that process and, like, make you successful. What was your experience with trauma to get you through to where you are today?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I just think I think as kind of leaders, particularly of people, we're good at kind of maybe compartmentalizing it, aren't we, and just carrying on regardless. And I think I feel like it's a trait that's actually a good leadership trait when you're trying to build out a team, you know. I don't like people that kind of moan about stuff, and I'm really drawn to kind of positivity and people that build things. So I think if I can inspire people to do that in any way, shape or form, it's a good thing.
I mean, I think I was kind of, like, just falling short of that word inspirational. I think it is inspirational what you've done, and it's an incredible success story as well. Being not many people exit their business.
Yeah, true.
And, you know, to be able to do that, I think that's, like, the ultimate sort of, you're going to have that capital event, you're going to have that freedom event. Yeah. What's next? You don't know, clearly, and I would hazard a guess of what you might do, but have you had any inkling of, like, what you might do after exit?
Yeah, I think I'm quite drawn to kind of helping people that have been through a similar situation in terms of, like, the kind of standard things you go through building a business. So, you know, most of the people that I've spoken to here, founders, for instance, I feel like their biggest issue is sometimes getting away from the day to day and kind of doing the thing, whatever that thing is. So yeah, I would definitely find job satisfaction in being able to help people do that. And it's quite a well-trodden path, isn't it, with people that leave businesses, particularly agencies, and then go and kind of consult for other ones, or bit of strategic advice here and there. So I think that's probably the way that it will go for starters, and I'll just see how it goes.
Well, I mean, that's something that we went through. We hired an exited founder from an agency to come in and be our, basically almost like a non-exec director and type role, but it was more like consultative led and what have you, and it was incredibly helpful. So if you do end up going into that role and into that sort of on that kind of path, I think it would be incredibly helpful to young agencies that are kind of like building up and trying to maybe get to where you were as well. But just on the exit, how did that process start? Like what made you go, I think we're ready to exit now? Because I think that's something that's not many people talk about. That not many people talk about the process in being able to be ready for exit emotionally and from a business point of view as well.
Yeah, so ours was probably more drawn out of necessity, really, because we started looking into it just after COVID, when we'd had a business for 10 years and kind of thought, well, if everything fell apart overnight tonight, what have we got to show for it? And so you've got all this kind of money left on the table almost, haven't you? And we just leased a swanky building that we were growing into. We put personal guarantees down on it, and then everyone was furloughed, and we were paying like thousands of pounds a month in just business rates. I was thinking, like, God, what are we going to do if it all falls apart today? So I hadn't had any sort of exit in mind prior to that, but then really did start to look into it. And at first we hired like an M&A agency that were kind of going to take us to market and stuff. And they were lovely people, but I feel like they didn't really understand what we did and therefore how to kind of market us correctly. And the pitch deck they created is we weren't happy with it. And we're creative people, aren't we? So if we're going to show what we're doing to other creative people, we want it to look really good. And they were pretty adamant about not changing it and stuff like that. So we went through a process with them, and we got limited traction, to be honest with you. And then after that, we kind of started approaching companies ourselves, and particularly trade ones, just to see if anyone would be interested in buying us. And we got some real good interest from redoing the deck and just reaching out to people directly. And then I worked with a guy who's a mentor of mine, who had a similar journey in that he sold an agency via an MBO a few years back. And we're on this call, and he told me about this EOT thing, Employee Ownership Trust. And I was like, oh, wow, it seems to like tick a lot of boxes for what we want to do. It gives us the ability to exit, or at least one of us to exit. It gives something back to the team who have created that value in the last, decade plus. It seems a bit like, I don't want to say too good to be true, but it seems like really, really good. And that was it. We went down that route. It took probably from the moment that we decided we were going to do it to the completion was probably 8 or 9 months. So reasonably quick.
That is quite quick.
You've got less due diligence because, you don't have some third party looking in. You're effectively selling it to a team of people that know the business really well. So that was handy. And that's how it came about.
It sounds like that exit process was like incredibly collaborative. Like, because if it's like employee owned now, it's like the employees are involved in that process. So that's almost like an MBA kind of like style education immediately for your employees, isn't it? Like running through the numbers with such with a fine tooth comb. They know every digit, they know every kind of like revenue stream. And it's just, that sounds incredible. And 8 to 9 months is, I don't know many acquisitions that have been that quick.
Yeah. I mean, it is fast for sure. I think the most complicated part of it is all the legal documents that you need to kind of sign, which I guess is the same for any other kind of exit, but I've never done one. And I guess getting the structure in your head, because now we've got 2 boards. We've got a business board, which runs the business day to day, and then we've got the EOT board, which is like really there just to make sure that everyone in the business board is doing what they say they're going to do, and holding them to account. So it's pretty complicated compared to what we're used to, but still it's really good.
What as an agency owner, what lessons what pieces of advice would you give me if like I wanted to think about exit in like 3 to 4 years? Like 3 big pieces of advice that I should be thinking about if that was the route I was gonna take. What should I start thinking about now?
I think leadership team is important. We had a really flat structure for a long time, so it was just 2 co-founders and then loads of people underneath, which is still a good problem to have, but there was not quite the hierarchy there. I think when someone's looking to acquire you and you want to get a decent multiple, like they want to see that business can run without you and you're not just the business. That's a pretty standard one, I want to say. Other things to take into account might be, I suppose, like making sure that all of your processes are really tight and documented, so that you can get people, if you hire people, up to speed really quickly, and that you've got a process to get rid of people that don't work out. I think that's quite a good thing to have in place. And then that your numbers are tight, that your reporting functions are good. And I think if you can do those basic things, you put yourself ahead of probably 99% of businesses out there who can't do all of those. So.
And there's experts everywhere that can help you with that kind of stuff as well, isn't there? Like, you just have to look around here at Ideas Festival, and I've probably spoken to, actually, over the last couple of days, probably an expert in every single one of those things.
Yeah,
so
totally.
there's people out there that can help, can't they?
Yeah, I think so. And for a long time, we were very against getting external help and letting people kind of under the bonnet of our business, so to speak, because it makes you feel vulnerable, doesn't it?
It's invasive, actually, isn't it? It can be seen as quite invasive.
Yeah, ultimately, it's something you love. You don't want someone to critique it. But the minute you go to market, of course, everyone's going to be doing that anyway. And I think the other point that I would add is getting fractional people in is really good. So we got a very senior CFO, but we couldn't afford him full time, and we didn't need him full time. We need him for maybe a day a week at max, and so being open to those kind of things where you can get really good people that you can afford on a fractional basis, I think is the way to go.
That's weirdly something we've just done.
Oh, okay.
Fractional CFO, and it's I'm hoping she's going to change and rock my world. So
well, yeah, I mean, I must admit, like, I don't know what I expected, but our gross profit percentage was one of the key things that he focused on. And I thought, well, we've been doing this for years. Like, how are you going to tell us how we can optimize our gross profit percentage? But within 6 months, it was 2, 3, 4% higher. And obviously that just hits the bottom line pretty much,
Incredible. Joel, how can people get in touch with you? Like, obviously you're going through this exit process, and you maybe don't have everything figured out in terms of what you're going to do next, but I reckon there'll be a lot of people who might want to speak to you in terms of what they're going through, even if it's just to shoot the breeze, get a little bit of advice or a little bit of like consultation with you. Like, how can they get a hold of you?
Probably best way is LinkedIn, I would say. So Joel Dalton, Dalton. Find me on LinkedIn. I've got a really cheesy picture of me on Bondi Beach, so don't mistake me for any others who do not have that picture.
Joel, thanks so much for coming on, mate. I really, really appreciate it, and that was quite valuable, really valuable.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.